What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying your lives to the fullest today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2023 Ford Bronco Wildtrak. Huge thank you to Matt Newman over at Koons Sterling Ford for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you guys are interested in this particular Bronco Wildtrak or any Ford product, I'll be sure to have Matt's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. This thing looks absolutely sick here with the shadow black paint, with the black wheels, and with a negative offset. This thing would look even more menacing than it already does, and I mean that in the best way possible. It looks sick, and again, with a little bit of negative offset, maybe an inch or two of poke, that would be, in my opinion, the perfect stance for this vehicle. But just like I always do, first we're going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So, like I said, this is a 2023 Ford Bronco Wildtrak, and this particular one has been painted in shadow black. And like I just mentioned, the shadow black just works on this vehicle. It looks so sick. But starting over here at the top of the hood, you get a satin black Wildtrak hood graphic as standard with the Wildtrak trim level. And if you do not like this hood graphic, this is basically like a satin piece of vinyl, so you could remove it again if that is something that you don't like. But working our way down just a tad bit, these are two hood tie downs. So you get one on that side and obviously one on the driver's side as well. And they both have a 150-pound capacity. So, you know, hypothetically, if you wanted to tie down a surfboard to the front end of your Bronco, you could do that as long as you remain within the 150-pound capacity. So this is 150 pounds. That one's 150 pounds. It's 300 pounds capacity combined. But working our way down just a tad bit, as standard with the Wildtrak, you get LED headlights with automatic high beams, as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and a gloss black painted grille with the white Bronco lettering. I think, again, the shadow black paint just works so well, and it makes this thing look so beefy. And I love how with the black grille to the black paint to the black wheels, it all just comes together to look so sinister. But this particular one has been optioned with the $3,945 Lux package. And basically what the Lux package gives you here at the front end includes this forward-facing camera that works with the 360-degree view camera system and these 4 forward-facing sensors. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one on that side as well. This one also has the optional $725 heavy-duty modular bumper. The modular bumper, the $725 modular bumper also includes steel bash plates for the front undersection of the vehicle, and it removes the fog lights. So you get fog lights as standard with the Wildtrak, but when you opt for this front bumper, it removes those fog lights. And then also, this one has the optional $300 brush guard, which is what this thing is right here. And if you want the $300 brush guard, you are required to opt for the heavy-duty modular bumper before you can get that as an option. But as standard with the Wildtrak, you get 2 black tow hooks, one right there, one on that side as well. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting with the Wildtrak in particular is that you do not get full vehicle bash plates as standard. So you could get the optional $395 full vehicle bash plates if you were actually going to take this off-road. And considering that price is relatively low, I think it should just come standard with the Wildtrak Sasquatch. That's just my personal opinion, but if you're going to do any sort of off-roading, that is an option that you might want to at least consider getting. And basically what that covers is your engine, your fuel tank, and your transfer case. Now, as standard with the Wildtrak Sasquatch, you get a locking front axle as well as 11.5 inches of ground clearance. But working our way into these fender flares, these are the high clearance satin black fender flares that come standard with the Wildtrak Sasquatch, as does the Haas 3.0 package with Fox bypass dampers, a high clearance ride height, and a Ford Performance severe duty steering rack and tie rod ends. So this is a very capable vehicle. You can see how beefy the suspension is on screen right now. It's made to go off-road with that Haas 3.0 package. But working our way into the wheel and tire setup, this is the Wildtrak Sasquatch. So the Sasquatch package comes standard with the Wildtrak. So with that package, you get these 17-inch gloss black beadlock capable wheels, and they are wrapped in a 35-inch Goodyear Territory MT tire. These tires are very beefy, and I think you could do some serious off-roading out of the box with this wheel and tire setup. Again, they are beadlock lock capable wheels. So you could put a serious tire on this thing and you don't have to worry about any wheel slippage or anything like that. Now, with the Wildtrak Sasquatch, you obviously get a Wildtrak Sasquatch fender badge on both sides of your front end. But working our way into the side view mirrors, as standard, you get these fixed satin black mirrors, and as standard, again, they are heated, manual folding, and you get blind spot monitoring on the upper left hand side of your driver's side mirror, and then over there on the upper right hand side of your passenger side mirror. But like I mentioned a little while ago, this has the optional Lux package, and what the Lux package gives you on the side view mirrors include the LED spotlights, the LED puddle lights, and the side view camera. Again, that side view camera works with the 360-degree view camera system that comes with that Lux package. But taking a step back, we'll do a little side profile shot of the Bronco. Again, this thing looks sick. And I'm not usually a fan of black vehicles. I mean, I do like them, but I don't love them. I'm normally a blue vehicle kind of guy, but the black paint just works on this vehicle. It looks so, so good. And I'm gonna say that like 10 times throughout this video because I truly mean it. Now, as standard with the 4-door Wildtrak, you get a soft top. And obviously, if you guys have ever seen a Bronco in person, you know that they get frameless windows. And what I mean by that is that there's no frame around the windows. They're just kind of like there. Obviously, you get black window trim. This one has the optional $110 keypad. So basically, you can lock your keys in the vehicle as long as you remember your key code. Type in the key code and that will unlock the vehicle. Obviously, this is a Bronco, so I don't think I even need to say this, but I'm going to say it if you have never, heard anything about a Bronco before. All 4 of your doors are removable, as is the soft top. Keyless access comes standard with the Wildtrak, and then all the way at the bottom of the side profile of this vehicle, this one has the optional $395 powder-coated black tube steps. So here is a closer look at those tube steps. So this does not get a rock rail because it does have those tube steps there. Now, working our way a little bit further back, you get a capless filler neck as standard. 87 octane will do you just fine. If you want a little bit more power, you can put in 93. I'll get into that here when we move into the performance part of this video. But you also do get LED taillights back here and a full-size spare tire. And what's located at the center of your full-size spare tire is your backup camera. You can see that on screen right now. This also is a 150-degree opening tailgate, so it opens very, very far. So I might as well show you that. This handle back here also includes keyless access, so just make sure you have your key fob in your pocket. You can put your hand on it and the vehicle will open up. This is what I mean by the 150-degree opening. You can see it opens up all the way. One thing that's pretty cool is that you have this accessory ready plate right here, so you can put a nice little table here, so you can cut up some onions, cut up some sausage or something like that, and get that prepared when you're camping. All you got to do is just open up the tailgate of your Bronco and then put your accessory in there, and then you have a nice little table. I think that is an awesome feature. But working our way into the trunk space, there actually is quite a bit of trunk space back here, considering what this vehicle is. So I would say that you could probably fit, maybe 8 carry-on suitcases back here if you stacked 4 on each side. I mean, there is a ton of storage space back here, and then it also is quite tall back here as well. But stepping on into the interior over here, I'm not sure how well the GoPro will pick it up, but that is a bottle opener, which is a very, very cool feature. And then you also get a little cargo area light and a 12-volt power outlet to the left of that cargo area light. I want to see what we got. These are the standard carpeted floor mats that come with this. And then opening this up, you get your jack and some other little miscellaneous things and some miscellaneous storage. You could set some jumper cables underneath here if you wanted to as well. But that's kind of about it for what we got going on, at least in the cargo area. So I'm going to close that trunk. Get your Ford badge on the left-hand side of your tailgate. That is your third brake light. And then over here on the right-hand side of the tailgate, you have your Bronco badging. I think that's a pretty cool little Bronco badging. A couple other things I wanted to mention while we were back here is that you do get a satin black rear bumper as well as 4 integrated sensors. Those 4 sensors do come standard with the Wildtrak. That's 1, that's 2, that is 3, and then the 4th one is over there. You also get an LED license plate light if you were wondering, as well as 1 black tow hook back here as well. With the Wildtrak, like I mentioned, the Sasquatch package comes standard, again, with the Wildtrak. So with that in mind, you get a 470 final drive ratio, as well as an electronic locking rear axle. So not only do you get an electronic locking front axle, you also get an electronic locking rear axle here as well with the Bronco Wildtrak. So this thing is uber capable. It can definitely tackle, you know, the majority of the terrain that you're going to throw at it. Obviously, there's certain terrain that you're going to have to modify it, or you could just step up to a Bronco Raptor if you really have some serious off-road terrain to throw at a vehicle. But really, for like 90% of the people who are buying this, you don't have to do anything to it because it's out of the box. Crazy off-roader that will tackle pretty much any terrain. Sorry, there was a bug on me. And again, with the black paint, it looks absolutely sinister. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of this vehicle, but let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 that on regular fuel makes 315 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. But on premium fuel, you can make an additional 15 horsepower and an additional 5 pound-feet of torque for a total of 330 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, again, when running on premium fuel. This motor is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 6.2 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, this thing gets 17 city, 17 highway for 17 miles per gallon combined. Again, this thing, plenty of power. I don't feel like it really needs any more power. I just filled it up with, I didn't fill it up, but I put 87 octane in it, and I feel like it has more than enough power at that octane rating. So if you want a little bit more power, again, you can put premium fuel in this thing, and I think that's pretty cool that Ford has that tuning integrated just from the factory for the Broncos. So if you guys are enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I am on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. I'd love to be able to purchase a vehicle like this one day, but I can't get there without your support. So if you've taken anything from this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. But with that stuff said, let's move into the interior. Moving into the interior, keyless access does come standard with the Wildtrak. So all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle and put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by pressing on that button right there. And then again, this has the $110 keypad, so all you would have to do is memorize your code, type that code in, and that would also let you into the vehicle. So opening up the door, again, these doors are removable, so there's really not a whole lot going on with the door panel. So you get a chromish looking door handle, you have your unlock and your lock functions, you get some mesh down here to hold a phone or something like that. Then you get a nicely padded armrest, and then the rest of the door panel is pretty much all this plastic type of material. But stepping on into the interior, this is what your seats look like. One thing I really like about these seats is that the headrests are adjustable, so they can come towards you, they can go away from you, and you have a few different settings in between to find your exact perfect comfort setting. So you do get a power front driver seat. This is what the seat looks like. You have your little Bronco embossed into the seat back. But let's step on into the interior. You get a nice little grab handle here as well that says Bronco. There's a closer look at that. You get a nice little blue accent strip on that as well. Keyless access, so you also do get push button start. Push your foot down on the brake, key fob in the interior, push to start. And that is what the 2.7 liter sounds like when it fires up. I am gonna roll a window or two down so we get some cross flow going in here. If I use the HVAC system, it's gonna mess with the audio in this video. But let's start down over here. So these different buttons are for your LED spotlights in your side view mirrors. I'll put a little picture of what that looks like on screen right now. Those LED spotlights do come with the Lux package, so just keep that in mind. Here are your headlight controls. These buttons here are to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster, as well as your backlit buttons. You get an electronic parking brake down here as well, and then you get a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. What I mean by that is that the steering wheel will come towards you, steering wheel will go away from you, and then you can also move the steering wheel up and down to your liking, so you can find a nice comfortable setting for you. But let's take a listen to the turn signal. That's what the turn signal sounds like on this vehicle. Not only is this your turn signal stock, this is also your high beam control stock and your windshield wiper control stock. So that's a closer look at that. Now, coming back, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel with heated function. The heated steering wheel does come a part of the Lux package, so just keep that in mind. But at the center of your steering wheel, that's where you'll find your horn. Let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the Bronco. So on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, again, with that Lux package, you get adaptive cruise control. So this stuff here is your adaptive cruise control stuff. And then that button right there is for your lane centering assist. And then you have your volume controls down here. And then on this side of the steering wheel, you have your tuning control. So that's to go back on a track. That's to go forward on a track. This button right here is to control your screen, as is that button and these two buttons here. This button is to pick up and or hang up on a phone call. And then to the right of that is the button to speak to the vehicle. But that's pretty much it for the steering wheel. Now let's move into our gauge cluster. So right at the center of your gauge cluster is where you'll find your 8-inch digital dash. And then to the left of that, you have your analog speedometer, your coolant temperature gauge, and then you have your transmission status stuff down here. And then you can see a couple of these different things. Basically, these are like your error alerts and stuff like that. But on the screen, you can see that is your fuel gauge, and then that is your RPM stuff. Beneath that, that is your digital speedometer readout, and then all the way down here is your fuel range. So we have 42 miles until empty. Right now, this is the main menu, so you can go in between My View. We can go into that now. This is what My View looks like. I'm just clicking on this arrow right here. That's gonna bring me into tire pressure stuff. You can go into your off-road stuff, basically pitch and roll. Then you have your trip one information, you have your fuel economy stuff, and then you have a calm screen, which basically displays nothing. I'm gonna click this back arrow here, and that's gonna bring me back into the main menu. So you can go in between your different trip/fuel information. You can go into your off-road stuff. Excuse me, you can go into your off-road status. So you have that screen, you have the pitch and roll screen, you have the power distribution, you have the tire pressure stuff, your different auxiliary gauges, which is cool. So you can see all those different temperatures and voltage stuff come down. You have your turbo boost. So obviously the more you rev it up, the more boost you're gonna see. You get your oil temperature stuff, transmission temperature stuff, and your battery voltage. And then you can also go between, you go back, you can go into your navigation stuff, your phone stuff, audio stuff, and your different settings. We can go into the settings, and these are your 3 different settings. If you're gonna flat tow behind an RV, you can go into the neutral tow thing, and you could basically do what you need to there. So you can flat tow this vehicle, which is a pretty cool thing, and they make it very easy for you to be able to do that kind of stuff. If this was my vehicle, I'd probably want to see my fuel economy stuff. So that is probably the screen that I would leave this vehicle on if it was mine. And then down there, I don't know if I pointed that out, that is your odometer. This vehicle has 57.3 miles on it. Now, with that Lux package, you also get a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. You get a speaker over there, a speaker right here, and a speaker over there, and pretty much littered throughout the interior. Also with that Lux package, you get the USB-A port and the USB-C port mounted on the dash, which I think is pretty cool. You also got a spot right here. You could set a GoPro if you wanted to. And then all of this area really up top here on your dash is all useful. So you can set your phone up top there or stuff like that if you want to. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so that fits up there no problem. And there's not really that much wiggle room because you have these nice little indentions here that will catch the phone if it's trying to drift around. But coming over to here, you have these different controls. So this button right here is to lock your front axle. This button right here is to lock your rear axle. This is your trail turn assist button. So basically you can turn this vehicle on a dime. Makes it very easy to do a quick U-turn. Pretty cool function. And then that button right there is to turn traction control on or off. And then all the way over here is your hazard button. You may notice we have a little blank area right here. That is where you would find your stabilizer bar disconnect on like the Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package. This one does not have a stabilizer bar disconnect. Then you got your push button start button there. Then you have your 12-inch Sync 4 infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And with the Lux package, you get built-in navigation. So coming over to here, basically right now I have my Apple CarPlay displaying on this part of the screen. However, a few months ago, Ford came out with an over-the-air update. So if you click right here, that will bring you into your full screen Apple CarPlay. That is what the Apple CarPlay stuff looks like there. And then if you click that again, it will go back into the smaller screen Apple CarPlay. But that is your time. Over here is the ambient exterior temperature. This is your split screen display. So right now you get the Apple CarPlay stuff. You have your zone lighting stuff, off-road status stuff, pitch and roll stuff. You click more. It's kind of frozen right now. Then you have your navigation stuff, CarPlay, and so on and so forth. Then you have all your different shortcut controls down here, so you can go in between your audio stuff, CarPlay stuff, navigation stuff, app stuff, settings, and features. There are a couple of cool features. I'll show you the different driver assistance stuff here on screen. So that's one driver assistance screen. Scroll down now. That is your second driver assistance screen. Then you have zone lighting. Again, you can turn on all your different lighting zones. It's pretty cool. Basically, it's going to turn on your headlights. It's going to turn on your spotlights, your puddle lights, your reverse lights, your license plate lights, and so on and so forth. I used to think that this was a gimmick, but then I actually started using it. And if you live in like the country or something like that, it is actually a very, very useful feature. So zone lighting is actually really cool. So if you don't know much about it, I think you should read into it, because it is actually a really, really cool system. But again, that's kind of about it for what we got going on here with the Bronco, at least here for the infotainment system. I could spend more time on it, but that would make this video long. Coming down a little bit, you have your volume control knob, your tuning control knob. That will bring you back on a track. That will bring you forward on a track. That will play or pause on a track. This is your instant camera button. So when I press that, that will pop up the 360 cam and the forward facing camera. If I put it into reverse, that is where you would find your backup camera. You see these three little lines up top here. If you click right there, that will bring you into these different camera zones. So you can have the 360 cam, you could have your front camera, or you can have your front and your side cameras working together. Personally, I like this setup the best. Click that camera button again, and that will just bring you back out of that screen. And then that button right there is to turn your auto stop start system on or off, and then that is to turn your parking sensors on or off. Dual zone climate control comes standard with the Wildtrak, so you have your temperature controls on both sides. Heated front seats also comes standard with the Wildtrak as well. 3 levels of adjustability with that, but again, with the Luxe package, you get a heated steering wheel, and that is your heated steering wheel button down there. Opening this up, you get a USB-A port and a USB-C port, and then beneath that is where you'll find your wireless charging pad. The wireless charging pad also comes a part of that Luxe package. Get a pretty cool little Ford thing. It lets you know where the vehicle was built and stuff like that, and where it was designed. Passenger gets a little poop handle down here as well. If you have the doors off, they can grab here. They can also grab over there as well. You get 2 cup holders. This is what your gear shifter looks like. So if you wanted to go into manual mode, you bring it all the way down, and now you can control the transmission shifts with these buttons mounted on the side of the gear shifter. So that is to downshift. Right there is to upshift, and again, you can do that to your liking. But you know, if I'm not off-roading, then I would just leave it in drive. And then you also get a cool little Bronco thing right there. You get 7 GOAT modes. GOAT stands for goes over any terrain. I'll get into that in a minute. You also obviously have a 2-speed transfer case, signifying 4-wheel drive high and 4-wheel drive low. Then you also have 4-wheel drive automatic, which will, you know, it's basically like all-wheel drive-ish in a way. That's the best way I can describe 4-wheel drive automatic. And then pressing on that button is to turn trail control on or off. Trail control is basically like a 1-pedal driving system. It's like an off-road cruise control kind of thing. So basically, you can basically drive this vehicle off-road with trail control on, just with the accelerator. So when you let off, it basically slows it, and when you gas it, it gasses it. So that's kind of the best way I can describe trail control to those who don't really, or aren't really familiar with what it does. But again, you have 7 GOAT modes. You have normal mode, you have eco mode, you have sport mode, and then you also have your slippery mode, you have your mud/ruts mode, you have your sand mode, and your Baja mode. But we're not going to be doing any sort of off-roading, so I'm going to leave it in normal mode. Here are your power side view mirror controls. You get automatic up and down windows at all 4 corners. Pressing on that button will restrict your passenger window privileges, and then you also get a lockable center console. Opening up the center console, you get a decent amount of storage space down in there. I'd say maybe 40% of my forearm fits in there with this closed, and then you also get another 12-volt power outlet down in there as well. This is also just a nicely padded armrest in general. Coming over to here, it says Bronco OPU panel over there, and then you get a lockable glove box here as well. You can see your owner's manuals in there. Not the biggest glove box that I've seen, but it's definitely bigger than what you would find in a Jeep Wrangler. There's more space in this glove box than a Jeep Wrangler. But coming up top here, auto dimming rear view mirror comes standard with the Wildtrak. And then you have your driver light, your passenger light, both of those are LED. Pressing on that button will turn on all the interior dome lights, if you can see that. And then that button right there is to either have the lights turn on or not turn on when you open up the door. passenger airbag on or off. These 6 auxiliary switches come standard with the Wildtrak, which is awesome. And let's say you have a light bar and the light bar is on auxiliary 3, you can flip auxiliary 3 on and it lets you know that the light bar is on because that lights up in amber, and when they're lit up in blue, that means none of them are on. Then right here, you get a universal garage door opener. The universal garage door opener comes a part of the Lux Pack. So if you own a house with 3 different garage bays, you can open up those 3 different garage bays individually with those 3 different buttons. On your visor, you also get a little clip right here. You can set money or something like that. Then you get a vanity mirror with 2 vanity lights. And then this also slides forwards and backwards to your liking. That side looks the exact same. One thing that's pretty cool about the soft top, you just got to undo a couple of these things. And then you can throw the soft top backwards. So basically, this whole area right here would be like an open top feel. One thing that I like about the Bronco as compared to the Jeep Wrangler is that you have like a lot more space. It just feels like a lot taller in here than what you would find on like a Jeep Wrangler, which is something that I personally appreciate. It just feels like a little bit more open and airy. And then if you guys get the high package, that adds additional sound deadening as compared to the mid package, which is standard on the Wildtrak. Now, there are a couple things I wanted to mention. So like I said, this has the $3,945 Lux Pack, and what I'm going to encompass with the Lux Pack here, with the things that I'm going to read out, also include what come with the high package. So just keep that in mind. This gets a 12-inch Sync 4 infotainment system with the wireless Apple CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto. With the Lux package, you also get adaptive cruise control, a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, evasive steer assist, a heated steering wheel. You also get the dual smartphone charging on the dash with that USB-A port and that USB-C port underneath that thing right there. This also includes the wireless or the universal garage door opener, the built-in navigation, the wireless charging pad, the 360-degree view camera system, the forward-facing sensors, and the additional sound deadening. A couple things that you get standard with the Wildtrak include keyless access, heated front seats, remote start, and a dual zone climate control system. There are also a couple other things that I'm not mentioning, but a couple other things. You get 7 GOAT modes with the Wildtrak, as well as locking front and rear axles. You get the trail turn assist, trail control, and those 6 auxiliary switches. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You guys can take a look at all the standard stuff. You can take a look at the optional stuff, and basically, you know, take a look at whatever you want to, but I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2023 Bronco Wildtrak 4-door is spec'd is $63,640. That is a lot of money for sure, but you definitely get an out-of-the-box off-roader that, again, can tackle nearly any sort of terrain. But I do want to show you what we got going on in those rear seats before we moved into the driving portion of the review. So with that said, opening up the door back here, the door panel looks pretty much the exact same as what you would find in the front. You get a little bit of storage space at the bottom of the door panel, and then you can see this is what the seats look like. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna fold this up so I can be comfortable when I sit in it. Stepping on in, you can see you get a center fold down armrest with 2 cup holders. That's what that looks like. It also is used as an armrest, but I would say it's not the most comfortable armrest, especially if you had 2 cups in here. Then it's really not very usable, except if you like sit on the edge of it. But anyway, still happy that you do get that. Then you get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You also get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat as well. Coming down here, again, the second row door windows are also automatic up and down. Opening this up here, you get a USB-C port and a USB-A port, and then to the right of that you have a 110-volt household power outlet, which is always nice. I am adjusted behind myself. I am 5'9". You can see I've got quite a bit of leg room left, quite a bit of knee room left, and a ton of headroom left over. Again, I am 5'9". Then over here, you get an OPU panel. Same thing goes for that side as well. And then that is your dome light for the second row. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior of the Wildtrak. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, guys, now on to the driving portion of the review, where I always start my videos here. We go over these speed bumps at 5 miles an hour, and then I rate these vehicles on a scale of 1 to 10. Did very well over the first one. Obviously, this has the Haas 3.0 suspension. So, you know, it's going to ride over these bumps very, very well. I mean, that's pretty much what this thing is built to do. We're going 5. I'm gonna give this thing a solid 7.95 on a scale of 1 to 10. It did very well over those speed bumps. And comparing this to like a Jeep Wrangler, I always say this video, or in every video that I do with the Bronco, the Bronco is much more roadworthy than the Jeep Wrangler is. It rides very well. It's very well composed on the street. And that's kind of why the Wrangler is a little bit more capable when it comes to like insane, like serious off-roading stuff, because it does have that solid front axle, whereas, you know, that's kind of the weak link with this, is the independent front suspension on like some serious off-roading stuff. But, you know, majority of you, I think, I'm assuming here, who are buying a vehicle like this, I really think you're probably going to be using it as a daily, probably, you know, 85 if not 90% of the time. So, you know, with that in mind, I would rather have the Bronco just because it's a lot more well-mannered on the road as compared to the Wrangler. It just is. It rides better. It handles better. The seat's more comfortable in this. But again, if you're going to be doing like serious off-road stuff, well, then you're probably going to want to get the Wrangler because it's, again, more capable than this is, you know, off-road. Just, it is. And another thing I wanted to say is that the seats in this are also more comfortable than the seats that you find in a Wrangler. I'm gonna get into this lane here real quick. They're more comfortable, they're more supportive. The only kind of wish that I did have with this is that, you know, this is an expensive vehicle, you know, almost $64,000. I do wish that it would have the ventilated seats, but I can understand why it doesn't. You know, if you're going to be taking the roof off, you know, you're going to be taking the doors off and it's going to rain. Well, with perforated leather, you know, stuff's going to seep down, the fans are going to get wet, and, you know, it's likely that the fans aren't going to work after, you know, a few times of getting wet. So I can understand why they don't have the ventilated seats in this, but it would be a nice thing to have. Maybe they can make like a luxury model of this with ventilated seats, and maybe they do. Maybe I just don't know about it and I'm just ignorant to the fact that they do have ventilated seats. But anyways, this thing is just a great vehicle. It looks menacing, it rides great, which is, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You know, it's a very capable off-roader, but it also rides just very nice here, you know, on the road, which is something that's very important to a lot of people, I would think, you know, who are looking at a vehicle like this. You know, they're like, I want the look of an off-roader, but I want it to behave like an SUV on the road. And that's, you know, kind of how this behaves. It really does behave, you know, like an SUV, which is something that I really appreciate. I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds to hear what it sounds like at 50. So is it as quiet as an F-150 Platinum? No, obviously not. And the reason I just brought that up is because the video I did before this was with an F-150 Platinum. But, you know, this has really beefy off-road tires. It's got the soft top. With the high package, you get some additional sound deadening. So this does have additional sound deadening. I got a bug in here that's kind of bugging me. Kind of play on words there. But man, I would love to cruise around in this thing with the top down, or with the top off, excuse me, with the doors off, because I think I would have a lot of fun with this. And I also feel like it just feels very capable off-road. I'm gonna roll that window back up. There's a Ram TRX. Is that a Lunar Edition TRX? Let's see. I have not seen a Lunar Edition in person yet. Okay, no, that was just a silver TRX, but I do love myself a TRX. I would take the TRX over the Raptor R. Let me know, what would you guys take, a Ram TRX or a Raptor R? Is that an Audi RS6? It looks like it was. That thing is sick. A lot of cool cars out here today. But again, man, this thing rides fantastic for a vehicle. Like, for what it is, this is just a great overall all-around vehicle, because it's very comfortable seating wise, it's very comfortable suspension wise, and it's just very off-road capable. Like, I would love to just drive on that median right now. I'm not going to, because I got some self-discipline. I'm not going to do it, but I want to do it. But this is just a great vehicle. I think it looks awesome. I know looks are subjective, and you know, comparing this to the Wrangler, you know, I think the Wrangler also looks really sick. I also think that this thing looks sick, but I feel like the Wrangler looks a little bit more narrow than this, which I think would probably be better off-roading wise, because you take these on like narrow trails and stuff, and that's kind of where maybe the Jeep might edge this out, because it's just able to go on a narrower trail than with the Bronco. The Bronco's got a wide stance, you know, it looks wide, it feels wide, but you can also feel that with the interior. It feels bigger, feels wider, and it is wider than the Jeep Wrangler, and it looks wider. So you know, that's maybe a nag when it comes to the off-roading part, but when it comes to the on-road and just daily driving stuff, that's kind of where I think it's a plus. So you know, it depends what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a dedicated off-roader that you're occasionally going to daily, well, then that might be the Jeep Wrangler. The Jeep Wrangler might be the vehicle for you. But if you're looking for a daily that you can occasionally off-road, and you know it's going to tackle any sort of terrain that you're going to throw at it, well, then that would probably be, the Bronco would probably be the vehicle for you, and the Bronco Wildtrak in particular. It's just a great vehicle. It's a great looking vehicle. Now, when we move into the interior, I wanted to say, I think the interior on this is also, you know, nicer than the Wrangler. I know the Wrangler just came out with the updates, and I'm actually going to do a video with a 2024 Jeep Wrangler tomorrow, but on the 2023s there was no wireless CarPlay or no wireless Android Auto. It was all wired, so that's a plus for this. With the Sync 4 system, you get the wireless CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto. Another thing that I do like about this is the seat comfort. And then also with the Luxe package, it gives you the 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which I found to be a very good sounding sound system. But you know, if I was to compare, like let's say hypothetically the Jeep Wrangler had like a I know it has the Alpine sound system, but if it had the Harman Kardon sound system, I would say the Harman Kardon would be maybe just a little bit better, because I'm just comparing the the Bang & Olufsen sound system, like the F-150 Platinum, as compared to the Harman Kardon sound system in the Ram 1500 Limited. I do like the Harman Kardon better than the Bang & Olufsen, just because it's got a little bit more bass and stuff. But anyways, that's out of the factor. There's no factor like that, because there is no Harman Kardon sound system in the Wrangler. So you know, I don't even know why I just mentioned that, but the Bang & Olufsen sound system in this does sound pretty good. I do wish it had a little bit more bass, in that it was a little bit louder, but I'm gonna floor this now. 10 speed just shifts, boom, 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 just keeps you going through the gears. You know, this isn't the quickest thing in the world, but it's definitely not slow by any means, especially considering it's got those big 35-inch tires on it, and that it's not really built for speed. So overall, this is a joy to drive. If I was going to choose between a Wrangler and a Bronco, both being a 2023 model year, I would choose the Bronco. It's just more comfortable ride-wise. It's more comfortable in the seat, and I just kind of like the way that the Bronco looks better. Again, that's a subjective opinion. You guys can agree or disagree with me in the comments. We can have some friendly banter if you guys disagree or if you agree, again. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I am now on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I can't get there without your support. So if you have taken anything from this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Also, I hit 14,000 subscribers a few days ago, and I just wanted to thank each and every one of my subscribers and future subscribers for your support. I mean, really, I can't get anywhere near my goal of 100,000 subscribers, or my goal of doing this long term as a job, without your support. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really truly appreciate your support. But like I mentioned, that's it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.